Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm making a special card and let me just show you. He's hovering around right now and I don't want him to hear me say that I'm making the anniversary card. So this is what the card is, this is what the special occasion is, but I'm not telling him. Okay. So I'm using the Sailing Home set, which is one of the ones from the new catalogue, and it's one that I've used a lot already. I used it for some of my swap cards, and I've been using the DSP, the Sailor, I think it's Come Sail Away, the DSP, which is really pretty. And I was looking at things on the internet last night, trying to work out which card I was going to make today. And I saw Amanda Charlesworth in the UK, who goes under the name of Scrimping Mummy. She made a centre step card, and it reminded me that I used to make centre step cards a while back. And so I thought, right, for this special card, I'm going to make a centre step card. She had used, I think it was the Magnolia Lane set with hers. And I'm not copying or casing hers, it just reminded me to use the same shape of card. Her measurements are for the UK. Mine are based on American Canadian size card. So I'm using just an ordinary piece of Night of Navy. It's half of a piece of cardstock. And let me just get this undone. So I've got a piece that's 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, down the middle. Let's move that cutting blade. So I'm just going to score it just there. I'm not going to bend it all the way because we're going to make some cuts on here. And to make these cuts, I like to start with the front of the card at my left-hand side and then rotate it round so that I have the score mark across the middle, but sort of down towards the bottom. And I'm going to cut at 1 3/4. So I'm going to line my card up with the 1 3/4 line here. And I only want to cut down to the score line. So you can either use your blade and start on the score line and go up, or you can start at the top and come down to the score line. And I'm going to start at the top. So I'm going to go from 1 3/4 over here. I'm going to go down to the score. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to lift my trimmer up and I'm going to move this along so that it's at 3 3/4. I'm going to put that back down, and then I know that my little blade is still on the score line. I'm just going to go up. And that gives me a 1 3/4 inch panel, a 2-inch panel and a 1 3/4 inch panel. Now I'm going to turn the card around because the centre piece I want to score halfway along. So I'm just going to line it up, and I need it to be at 2 1/8. So I've lined it up at 2. And remember, each of these little lines is 1/16. So it's like 2/16 or 1/8 is just there. So it's the second little mark along. Then I'm going to move that cutting blade right out of the way because I only need the score blade. I'm going to line it up with where the cuts are and just score between them. And that's it. That's all I need that trimmer for the card. And just pop that out of the way. Okay, so this will become our centre step. I'm going to fold the whole card. Oops. And then when we've got all the DSP and everything on, this piece will stand up like this. And it will have, if you look from the top, the design will be here, and it will just stand up sort of like a little tent. So the next thing we need to do is to make DSP for the left and the right panel and the centre panel underneath and the 2 small panels here. And I've cut the Come Sail Away paper already. And these pieces are cut at 4 inches long by 1 1/2. And I'm just going to attach them, one to the left, one to the right. Now you can make these a little bit wider if you want to. And you can go down just by 1/8. I've gone down by 1/4 of an inch. Oops, I don't like that there. Oh, and it's sticking already. Oh, quick, 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 quick. Let's just wriggle that off. There we are. Oh, now I've stuck it at the top. Let's just take that piece of paper off. Nobody will see that. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and here. Oh, I made a right mess of that, didn't I? There we go. Let's put a little bit more across there. And this time, I'll make sure I centre it. So I know I want that 1/4 of an inch border to be even all the way around. It's actually not quite even. I've got it a little bit more down towards this side. So I'll make sure I do the same with the other piece of DSP. And then it will match. Okay, so it's about there, going down to there. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is to glue these two pieces down. So I'm just going to fast fuse them and one at a time stick them down. There we go. And I'm going to put a piece of DSP down here. I'm going to put a different pattern. And what's this size? Let me just try and find on my thing. Oh, this is 1 7/8 by 4. And it's just going to go here. So 1 7/8 by 4. And I want it to be just a tiny bit wider. I don't want it to look as though there's too much of a gap between. You could make it so that the whole of this piece underneath is filled with DSP, in which case you could cut it at 2 by 4, but I want just a little bit of white to show, blue to show. Okay, so now my two pieces for the top, I've chosen the same pattern and I want it to go the same way. So I know it's going to be the larger space here and the narrower space here. And these two little squares are cut at, what did I cut these? 1 7/8 by 1 3/4. So they're not quite square. 1 7/8 by 1 3/4. Let me make sure I get these just on right. So they'll go above and below the crease line or the fold line. Sure, I get this one the same. And it's the same size, 1 7/8 by 1 3/4. And I just want to hold it so that I know the blue line is going and matching all the way down. Okay. Now this piece will stand up because we're going to make a little stopper for it. But that's all of the DSP done for now. I'm just going to move that out of the way. So I'm just going to check my battery on the phone. Yeah, that's doing fine. Okay, so next I've chosen some of the stamps from the sailing home and I'm going to just stamp the largest of the yachts. So I've got a little piece of white and I'm going to stamp it with smoky slate. And I've only got a little scrap piece that's big enough for this to stamp onto. Okay, I don't need that again for a few minutes. I'll just get my little cloth and wipe that so that it doesn't stay on the stamp and I forget and then put it away. The chamois really does bring up the red rubber stamps really nicely. Okay, and then I'm just going to colour this in. I've chosen a few of my blends. I've got the Night of Navy, the Balmy Blue, and which is this one, the Ivory marker. And with the ivory, I'm just going to colour in the bottom of the yacht. I'm not doing any brilliant colouring, just going over quickly. I'm going to do the bottom bit a couple of times, just so that it's a tiny bit darker than the inside. And then I'm going to use the Balmy Blue and the light one, and I'm going to do the inside of this sail here, the white piece, with the Balmy Blue light. Like that. And then with the darker Balmy Blue, I'm going to do the outside of the sail. It's only a very slight difference in colour in these blues, but just enough so that you can tell one's inside and one's outside. Okay. And then I'm going to do the right hand sail in the dark Balmy Blue as well. And so it's not very intricate colouring. I'm just literally going over the whole sail and trying not to do, I don't know what you call those, the pieces of wood that the sail sticks on. I don't know what you call them. Masts, that's the word. I'm not doing the mast. Oh, I tell you, I forget words all the time now. There we go. So that's it. That's all the colouring I'm doing on there. And then I'm going to use the dies that cut out this big yacht. And the new dies, what I found is that they cut much closer. So instead of leaving like a little gap round like this, like we did on the older dies, these ones you line it right up with the edge of the ink, with the edge of the inked image. Okay, so like this. I've already actually run this through, and here's the piece that you get. I love that this has got a little cutout there as well. Okay, and then I just use the Balmy Blue. I'll do it on here, even though it's not cut out. I use the Balmy Blue, the lightest one, just to do a little bit of sea, like that. And then when you cut it out, you haven't got any white at the bottom. You've only got the sea at the bottom. Okay, and then I used, let me see, this piece, which is, let me pop those back in, which is one of the banners for the writing. I used this piece just on Whisper White. I didn't use the writing from here. I just cut out a piece of scrap Whisper White with this on. And then I cheated slightly because I borrowed from a different set, from the Lily Pad Lake, I borrowed the small yachts. I only wanted them very, very lightly stamped, and I'm going to put my writing over the top. So I stamped them still with the smoky slate. Let me just find them. Here they are. And what I did was I stamped off once, and then just in the centre of this, I just stamped them so that they're quite pale. I'll clean this one. Okay. And again with the light Balmy Blue, I made it so that it looked like they were in the water. I didn't do too much fussy colouring at all on this because I am going to have writing over the top of it. I just wanted it to give the illusion of the water being there. Okay, now try and do this the same level. That looks about the same level. Oh, maybe not. Looks like the sea's dipped a bit at that side. There we go. And then I'm just going to, with the other end of the pen, I'm just going to do the inside here, where you would be able to see the sea through the yachts, through the bottom of the sail. There we are. I'm not colouring the yachts in at all. I'm just going to leave them like that. Okay, so let's go back to our card. On the back, I'm going to put just a piece of Whisper White to do my writing on. But let's go back to the front of it. Now, oh, there it is. Now this is going to go onto here. And you can use any image you like. It doesn't matter if it overhangs these two sides. Just make sure that it's not taller than the top of your card, because it's fine when it's standing up, but otherwise it won't fit in an envelope. So I'm going to put this here. And I might put a little banner across here with something on as well. Not sure yet. Okay, so I'm going to attach this just with my dimensionals across the bottom. Oh, they're a bit big. Let's see. Let's use one of my little lined pieces. Just for the bottom of the yacht there. You could use small dimensionals as well, or I could have cut one of the bigger dimensionals in half. I might just put a little bit more there. And I'm going to put one at the top as well. Okay. I don't know if I'm putting a banner or any writing on here, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Oh, that's a little bit high, because I can feel it just on the fold of the card there. I don't want it to be that high. I'm just going to move it down a little bit, and so that I know it just sticks on the DSP and not on the fold, and it just crept onto the fold there. There, that's better. Okay, now this is going to stay here, and the little piece that we cut out and made the other yachts on, I'm going to make as the stopper. And again, with this piece, you can have it going across the left and right of your card. That's not a problem. Just as much as you want it to do. Before I stick it on there, I'm going to put my writing on. I borrowed another set, and I used the Well Said set, and I cut out the die cut words. Oh, let me find them. Love and you. So I cut them out in navy, and I'm going to put them over the top of these little yachts so that they just go like this. They're going to overhang a tiny bit, and you will still see the yachts underneath, but not too much. And let's get my Tombow. Now, I'm only going to put glue on the O and the V and the U. I'm not going to put it so much on the L because I want that to hang over. Just a few little dots there. Same here, but I'm only going to put it on the Y and the O. I was going to move that over just a little bit more, but it seemed to look better there, so I could have put some on the U. Okay. And then underneath, I'm going to put dimensionals so that it just holds the card up a little bit, and then it stops the top or the centre part of the card from falling down. It will just work as a little stopper. And then decide where you want your stopper to be. I'm just going to make sure that's in the middle there. And there. See how that, because it's raised up, it stops that centerpiece from falling down and laying flat again. Okay, so there we are. That's going to be my anniversary card. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the piece for the back, and I think I might stamp the happy anniversary parts on the back and do another of the little boats. I might even use this one, cut this out, and attach it to the white on the back. So there we are, that's my quick card for today, my little centre step card. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I hope you'll give it a go. It's a really easy card to make. You don't need much DSP for it, and you can use scraps. In, you know, a 2-inch piece of DSP. Often we have little pieces like that laying about. So there you are. That's it for today. Thanks ever so much for watching me, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.